Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the teaser that WeTV just put out, confirming all of the couples that will be featured on the newest installment of Life After Lockup. I want to say season 4, but I feel like it's a continuation of season 3. I feel like it's running along the same lines of Love After Lockup when we don't really know what the seasons are. It's like season 3 episode 95, which seems really dumb. I don't know why how many sets of new faces and how many iterations of their show there's been, we should be on at least season 4 or 5 of Life After Lockup and probably 5 or 6 of Love. And I don't get it. It's confusing, it's exhausting, but we love the show, so we deal. Anyways, let us talk about Life After Lockup and the new season. It's going to be starting August 27th. I'm assuming that means that Love After Lockup will be coming to an end. And I'm going to touch on a theory that I have for these last 2 seasons of Love After Lockup that have kind of run right into Life After Lockup with no break. Actually, let's just touch on it now. I think this is the result of the pandemic. I think that for certain couples, i.e. Nicole and Deontay, i.e. Stan and Lisa, I think that we're really seeing their entire storyline split over the Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. I think that, and we're seeing this, I feel like on 90 Day Fiance and some other shows where it feels like they're just wringing the storyline for everything it's worth, because I just feel like they don't have enough of the content. It was already rumored that Angela's entire storyline about her weight loss journey on 90 Day Fiance was actually supposed to be its own series, but then they didn't have enough content for HEA. So I totally believe that, and I feel like we're seeing that with Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup, that these storylines are kind of just being extended. Okay, so as I was putting my notes together for this video, I had also posted a couple days ago on Twitter, on Instagram, on my community tab on YouTube, these are the couples that have been confirmed and we've all been talking about it. Well, on Twitter, I was like a whopping 8 couples because that seems like a lot. Then I went back and there was definitely 8 couples last season or the first half of this season. Whatever you're subscribing to, it's all valid. So yeah, 8 couples is definitely not something revolutionary. So I don't know what I was thinking, but we have some very notable absences this season, as far as couples we've seen. And I'm going to touch on kind of the veterans first as far as the new couples go, but I wanted to touch on the noticeable absences. So we aren't having Andrea and Lamar, and we aren't having Sarah and Michael and Megan or Maria or pretty much anyone that's not him being a father to his kids. Yeah, those are 2 mainstays that we have seen season after season. They seem like institutions in the franchise and they are not being featured. So I don't know if that means that they're just not being featured for this season, or if the franchise is separating from these couples entirely. Okay, so let's talk about Life After Lockup and who we have coming up. The other thing I noticed when I was like, oh my God, like how did we have 8 couples last season? Like it didn't feel like 8 couples. And we definitely saw more couples featured, right? Like I feel like we heavily saw Lindsay and Scott, the breakdown there, Destiny and Shawn, the breakdown there. And, some other couples were just kind of peppered in throughout the episode, like little small segments. So I feel like that's going to happen again. But let's first start off with Brittany and Marcelino. And this is what we have to look forward to coming up this season.
Mars doesn't know what's going on. You haven't told him at all yet?
What's up with the money?
Money's gone, Marcelo. I feel like an idiot.
Okay, so me personally, and you guys might drag me for this, and that's totally understandable, but I'm over seeing them on our screen. They are an absolute success story, and that should Brittany should be commended and applauded in so many ways for really turning her life around, and not only turning her life around, but actually putting effort into helping her mother, who was going through some of the same things that she went through. I think that is absolutely amazing, and I think Brittany and Marcelino as people are amazing people. They've really created an amazing family, and I definitely wish them all the best. I just don't really have an interest in seeing them on this show anymore. Maybe in like if they, you know, segued off into doing their own thing, then I might be interested in that. But, you know, kind of drumming up drama for these two is, I don't know. Especially last season where it really turned towards Brittany's mother's addiction. There were some extremely dark moments that were really hard to watch. And I don't know, personally, I would rather see people getting sober privately than having them battle their addictions publicly. I just think that is somewhere where we could draw the line and not like sensationalize that. But again, them as a couple, absolutely rooting for them. I just don't know if we need to see them back again for another season. Okay, back for another round of bullshit is what I like to call this trio, Lacey, Shane, and John. And they're going to be gracing us with their presence yet again.
I'm tired. No results. Come back. I don't want to hear nothing.
Admittedly, last season with them was pretty boring. I mean, it was the pandemic, so really all we saw was them at home. They kind of filmed John separately, trying to come to terms with the fact that Lacey probably called the police on him. I actually find John super compelling and super interesting, and personally, I'm really rooting for him to stay sober and to stay the hell away from Lacey, but we know from recent events that that is not occurring. So I did notice that in their little teaser portion of the clip that they do show that Instagram live where Lacey was live with John. They don't mention in the teaser Shane's recent arrest, so I don't know if or how much that's going to be a part of their storyline. There seems to be this weird thing about him taking a lie detector test, which I think, I don't know, that just seems really dumb to me. All in all, it's really unfortunate because there is a newborn baby in and amongst all of this mess. And that is just super unfortunate. Also, you know, while Lacey, Shane, and John do bring the drama, it's not in an enjoyable way. It's in an incredibly frustrating way. And I think most people just are like, no, thank you. Then we have Amber and Puppy, and this is what we have coming for us this season.
Is the problem that she's gone? No, she's not answering the phone.
Puppy!
Again, I think that they might be pulling or stretching or kind of wringing out this storyline for all the content they can get out of it, because what really is going on here? We know that Amber and Puppy aren't together. I am actually interested to see, because we haven't had any developments online regarding what is going on with Puppy and her legal goings on. Her parole status says wanted. They do show someone walking in what appears to be a prison uniform. So is that Puppy? We don't know. So I am interested to see. But other than that, we know that they're not together. Individually, I like them both. And obviously, I want them to do well. I find them both to be very likable. But they're obviously not a couple. Why are they on Life After Lockup? Next up, we have Shawn, Destiny, and new love, Sarah.
I've been talking to another inmate. Destiny?
I need you to send me some money.
Is that her?
Off the bat, I just find it really obnoxious and kind of unbelievable. I feel like production totally prodded Destiny to call him. Why on earth? I mean, I have to believe that Shawn has enough scruples and common sense to not send Destiny any more money. Maybe that's my own naivety, but I have to cling to that little bit of hope. So anyways, we will see what happens. It seems so ridiculous that she would even call him based off the way that things ended last season, and she ended up getting married, and we know that she is still serving out her sentence. So to me, I feel like we're going to get not a lot there. What we haven't seen is Shawn's new love, and I know from speaking to the sources that I have spoken to close to Shawn and Kelly that they will be featured on this season. So we will be meeting Sarah, his new girlfriend, and that should be really interesting. I'm not 100% sure how much of Shawn's family, like we see Kelly in the opening clip. I'm not 100% sure how much of her we're going to see or really where this storyline is going to go, but I am sure it is going to be messy. And then finally, for the veterans, we have John and Christina.
Die out of this bitch.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be my day.
We're not going nowhere.
This to me really feels like just an extension of their storyline that was from last season of Life After Lockup. Again, I feel like they're kind of really milking all this content out to get as many episodes as possible. So this is definitely one of the couples that I feel like that's the case in. We know that they are still together, so it should be really interesting to see. They also have gotten themselves Bonnie and Clyde tattoos. I know at least Christiana's says Clyde across her chest. They also have tattoos memorializing the show. So they are very committed to this franchise. So I think for as long as WeTV wants to bring them back, they will keep them coming back. I've mentioned this before in another video, and I'm just going to reiterate it here. For me, I think that I'm to the point where I would just like to see maybe like the couples from the previous season or the season before, but not going super far back on Life After Lockup, and maybe just like 4 or 5 couples, so that we really get to see Life After Lockup. Going all the way far back, still showing Brittany and Marcelino, it's just like, I don't know, let these people grow and evolve from the show. I would rather keep it more current. You guys can let me know how you feel. I know that I've gotten several messages and several comments that people, speaking of keeping it current, one couple from the past that wouldn't fall into this, but one couple from the past that people really have been wanting to see is Angela and Tony. I think a lot of people really enjoyed their storyline, mostly because there wasn't a lot to lose there. There was no children involved, so it wasn't, you know, super dark. It was kind of just fun messiness, for lack of a better word. So people really enjoyed, you know, the list, the contract that she made Tony sign. And then, you know, she was just recently on Instagram showing a video of her burning Tony's things. It looked like a lot of pictures and a picture album. So I would have enjoyed that. I would have watched that. So yeah, it seems like if you're gonna bring couples back from the past, it's really interesting the couples that they have decided to show. Okay, and so for all of the newbies, I think that the criteria goes that we are just literally extending the storylines from Love After Lockup. I feel like they literally just ended the season at one place and picked up. It's like no time elapsing, nothing. So this is literally just a continuation of all these storylines. First, we have Nicole and Deontay. It looks like it picks up at their wedding that turns into a disaster.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I don't feel like I let you on when I was in prison.
What the is this what my life has come to?
The big question that I had a feeling Nicole and Deontay were going to be on Life After Lockup, just because they are so talked about. Their storyline is, again, much like Angela and Tony, where there's no kids involved. It's like fun messiness. There's not a lot on the line, right? So we're not seeing like seriously fucked up shit going on. So it's fun messiness, for lack of a better word. So I am wondering though, since we know that Lacey and Nicole knew each other prior to Nicole being on this show, will we see them reuniting on the show? I feel like that has to be an opportunity that production has at least had a conversation about. We will see if the girls are game for meeting up and how that plays out. Then we have Stan and Lisa.
No. Messenger talking to another woman.
Who's that?
Old friend of mine.
He's a good liar.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. This one really surprised me. I did not think that we would see Stan and Lisa on another season, mainly because I didn't think that Stan would be game to film more. If anyone did any filming past like that initial filming, I feel like it was like these segments, or I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe I get. The one thing that really surprised me is we find out that Stan's hair is real, allegedly. Again, with these two, I don't think we're seeing any kind of them trying to work out a relationship. I think it's going to be more of the two of them making each other miserable. I don't know if we're going to see any more of drunk Stan, but you know, Lisa's obviously not like super romantically interested in him. Stan, it seems like this relationship is just very clearly transactional. I said in a previous video, I at least think that both of them are pretty much upfront about what each wants out of the relationship and I think they're both aware of what the other wants out of the relationship. So at least there's that. But actually this one, out of all of the couples, really, and besides the couples that weren't included, this one surprised me the most. And finally, we have Brittany and Ray.
What are you looking for?
Where the hoes at? I hate being played.
With Brittany and Ray, we just really haven't seen much of them on this current season of Love After Lockup, except for, you know, Ray is coming home from the halfway house and Brittany made some really bizarre statements about how excited she was that he was gonna come home and not be able to go anywhere. She literally said, who wouldn't want a man that's on home confinement? So that was super cringe. But, you know, I think there's something really positive to be said about Ray, about the fact that they had pretty much nothing to film for the 2 months that he was at the halfway house. That means, for all intents and purposes, I think he was following the rules, and it was just, there wasn't a lot to film. Maybe they couldn't film and he wasn't, you know, causing a ruckus. So good for him. You know, everything that we've seen so far, and, you know, I'm just going up to what we've seen on the show so far. Ray seems like someone who actually does want to turn their life around, and they have like a very loving family. You know, he dealt with a lot of trauma in his life, especially with the death of his mother. So personally, I'm really rooting for Ray. I don't know if Brittany is the right person for Ray. Brittany, to me, seems like someone who needs control. She craves control, and just the things that she said, like the phone, having, like, she knows the password, she's gone on his social media. Those are incredibly invasive things. And now the fact that she's excited about the fact that he's literally going to be a prisoner in her home for a period of time does not speak to a healthy relationship. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think of this current lineup for the new season of Life After Lockup. Does that kind of spoil anything for you? Because I feel like they usually don't release the preview for the new season of Life After Lockup this soon. Again, though, I was surprised by 8 couples, and there definitely has been 8 couples before, so I could be totally surprised over nothing. I just kind of feel like now that we know that this is our last shot at like Rachel and Doug's storyline, Cheryl and Josh's storyline, that definitely puts like a different kind of spin on their storyline, knowing that there's definitely not going to be a time that we see them in Life After Lockup. I mean, I know that Rachel and Doug we know that they aren't together, but we know half of the couples in Life After Lockup are no longer together. So does that really matter? I don't think so. So anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. Are there any couples from the past that you would be interested in watching? You know, I think a lot of us, like I said, wish that they would keep it to the newer couples. But again, I can't lie, I would totally watch Angela and Tony. So let me know what you think. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, have a good one, much love.